Yo, what's good everyone? This is Ayo Boxing with Madiba, and here's my post-fight review for Gervonta Tank Davis versus Frank Martin. Now, I'm not surprised by the outcome of this fight. The popular consensus was Tank would win by stoppage in the later rounds. I predicted a counterpunch would straight up knock out Frank Martin, but it was a combination along the ropes that did it. Regardless, this was a vintage Tank Davis performance. He downloaded the data in the early rounds while the opponent takes the lead. He made an adjustment in the middle rounds and then stopped his opponent in the later rounds. This fight proved that Tank can fight any style because Frank is a slick boxer-puncher. He has good footwork, good power, great fundamentals, and intelligent jab, and is one of the best counterpunchers at lightweight, and we saw that last night. Tank started the fight by applying pressure behind his high guard, which forced Frank to box off his back foot. It was obvious that Tank's game plan was to make Frank outwork himself in the early rounds and then capitalize when Frank slowed down in the later rounds. And Frank fell into this game plan because he was moving a lot and would often put himself on the ropes trying to maintain a safe distance. You could also tell that he was nervous because he was biting on a lot of Tank's feints, which meant he wasn't relaxed at all. But despite falling into the game plan, Frank was fighting well. He worked behind his jab and was sticking and moving. He was dictating the range with his jab by attacking and probing Tank's high guard, and he would often punch through Tank's high guard with strong jabs and quick combinations. And whenever Tank did close the distance, Frank would pivot out and turn him or clinch him, and due to Frank's wrestling background, Frank would outmuscle Tank in the clinch. But the biggest thing to me was Frank's counterpunching ability. He caught Tank coming in a few times with left hands, and it was effective because it kept Tank at bay at times. But because of Tank's constant pressure, Frank was expending a lot of energy throughout the early rounds, and Tank was touching his body and catching him with short counters. And with each passing round, Frank was slowing down, becoming more stationary, while Tank was closing the distance, landing more counters, and letting his hands go. By round 6, Tank took complete control of the fight. Tank was countering almost everything Frank was throwing, which made Frank hesitant, but allowed Tank to put combinations together. It was getting bad because Frank was languishing on the ropes for too long. This would be his downfall because Tank would catch Frank on the ropes with an uppercut that would hurt him and then follow it up with a straight left that knocked him out. As stated before, it was a vintage Tank performance. Experience was the main factor in Tank's win. The fight reinforced that Tank is the face of boxing in America. I watched the fight at a bar and it was packed with people cheering for Tank. Granted, I'm from Maryland, but still, it was still a big show out for a Tank fight. And despite losing, Frank fought well and put his skills on display for the entire world. More people know him now than before, and he has definitely gained more fans, even though I see people clowning him in the comment sections on his page and whatnot. I expect him to learn and get better from this, and I look forward to seeing him in the ring again because he has opportunity to make himself a bigger and better name, just like Mario Barrios, who also lost to Tank, but went on to become a champion at welterweight and gain more fans and become a better fighter. Tank, on the other hand, will most likely fight Shakur or Loma next, especially since Bob Arum has expressed interest in making a Loma fight. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing with Madiba. Hit like, subscribe, and more content is coming your way.